This is the first time I've ever taken time to allow myself to meditate. Every time Major McCarthy leads us through an exercise and she does her thing with the bell and everything, it automatically gets me into a relaxed state to where I'm almost in a meditative state. I have literally felt balls of tension roll off my shoulders through these exercises. Didn't even realize I was carrying that much load of tension and stress inside myself until I allowed myself to get to that meditative state and just relax. I am absolutely 100% a believer that you have to find time in your day, in your week, to do this. And I will tell you, Mindful Mondays generally, since we've been doing it, have set up my week to be more intentional about everything we do, to be more deliberate, to be present in the moment when you're talking to somebody, engaging in their space, connecting with that relationship. I think all that has helped me through Mindful Monday. When we started out, we were doing yoga. And I think yoga, when you say that word, it's either people feel intimidated because they didn't bring their spandex, or they feel like they're going to break a sweat. And it's not like that at all. It's just different movement techniques. So what Major McCarthy did to her genius was switch it up and said, this time we're going to take a walk. We have that labyrinth in the healing garden. And what I realized in going through that exercise is how difficult it is for me to slow down pace. All it is a giant circle that ends in the very center of the circle. You know, you could take the shortcut and be there in 3 seconds, or you can enjoy the journey it takes to get there. And we did it about 3 times. We went through one, just kind of getting familiar with it. That took less than a minute. And each time she had us slow it down more and more, slow our breathing down, be aware of the garden. And by the end of it, I mean, it was a long journey to get to the center. In fact, I could even smell the lavender flowers in the garden once you really slow down your pace and be intentional and be deliberate about being in that moment. So if ever you need to clear your head, if ever you need a quiet place to walk and pray or meditate, using that labyrinth outside in the environment with the birds and nature, oh, that was very powerful. That was very relaxed, and I really enjoyed it very much. So through Mindful Mondays, and even going back to my aha moment, my epiphany moment back in training, that I'm in the people business, and we are going to, or at least I am going to, double down on people. It doesn't mean we're not going to focus on or maintain readiness. It doesn't mean we're not going to work towards optimizing healthcare, but doggone it, first and foremost, we're in the people business, and I'm going to double down on people. And that determination to double down on people, and in conjunction with that mindfulness, to be mindful when I'm interacting with people, I think has made me into a better listener. It has allowed me to be more empathetic and connect in a emotive or not an emotional state, but a state that says I don't want to say empathic, but it's that root that leads to empathy. And I'll give you an example. We have a colleague who is struggling with their health. Not uncommon when we have a staff and a population that we have, most of our staff are retirees. So this particular one, it was having some health challenges, and this person has a spouse, and this spouse is taking care of our teammate. And as she was telling me about the update to our teammate, it just impressed on me to ask her how she was doing. How are you doing in this situation? And she got kind of took back a little bit. You can see it struck a chord. And she said, you are the first leader to ask me about me, to ask me how I am doing in this situation. And I don't think I would have done that had I not had that aha moment of we're in the people business. And if the mindfulness of being in the moment, being deliberate, taking time to slow the world down around you to connect with a person on a personal, individual level, and be in tune or connected with them, and then be able to ask those questions. So I think that is a long-term change. There's been other changes in my life leading up to this moment, crucible moments, but I think one thing has built on something else, who has built on something else. And with our focus on wellness, and specifically mindfulness and Mindful Mondays, it's taken it to a whole new level.